Hey folks, welcome to another episode of Matty Numbers. It's episode 2. We're going to recap the NFL Divisional playoffs. Pretty straightforward stuff today. All right, we saw KC totally blow out Indianapolis by 18. So New England beat up on San Diego by a fair amount there. 13 in that game. LA beat Dallas by 8, and New Orleans pulled it out against Philly, who put up their first 14 in the first quarter and didn't do a whole hell of a lot after that. So recapping each game, KC wins 31-13. Mahomes throws 27 for 41. 278 yards, he rushes for a touchdown. But D. Williams, 129 yards on the ground and a touchdown. This kid's going to be a beast. He's going to run all over New England next week. I think Kansas City wins by 7, maybe 8. I don't see Tommy Two Guns running at the top of being the GOAT for much longer, especially with Pat Mahomes in the league. Kid throws 50 regular season touchdowns against some pretty formidable opponents throughout the entire AFC. I know the Pats beat him during the regular season, but I think that, at the end of the day, what we see is a little Mahomes revenge, and he takes out Tommy Two Guns by about 7 or 8 there. New England did win handily against San Diego earlier today, 41-28. Brady went 33 for 43 with 343 yards and a touchdown. He hit Edelman all day, but the real star of this game is Sony Michel. 129 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns. Kid barreled through San Diego's defense, LA's defense, whatever the hell they're called. They're just still the Chargers. Philip Rivers can't get it done. I think it's really time for a quarterback change there. Rivers may want to go to a Midwestern team somewhere. May want to stay on the West Coast. Who the hell knows? But Rivers' time is certainly up in the league. Playing against a formidable New England team in Tommy Brady and Sony Michel. Like I said, New England's going to play KC next week. KC's going to win that game by 7 or 8. Let's talk about the NFC. LA Rams beat Dallas 30-22. CJ Anderson, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kid steps in for Todd Gurley, who had an incredible year. Steps up, steps in, gets the job done. Rams beat Dallas. That game was a blowout pretty early on. 30-22 doesn't reflect that. Thought Dallas was going to show up, to be perfectly honest with you. Thought that game was going to be tighter, and in all honesty, I thought Dallas was going to be able to pull it out. They didn't. They didn't even cover the spread. So it was a little bit of a letdown. But again, CJ Anderson stepping in for Gurley. Pretty strong game there. NFC matchup next week is going to be tough. New Orleans, Philly jumped out to a 14-0 lead there. But that's all that New Orleans would give up for that game. Breeze was 28 for 38, 301 yards, 2 touchdowns. Michael Thomas, 12 catches, 171 yards, a touchdown. Kid was incredible. 120 plus receptions throughout the year. That was a league lead. I think Breeze led the league in completion percentage. That was a new record for him. I think New Orleans is going to certainly step up. They're going to beat the Rams next week, 35-32, maybe 36-31. 4 or 5 point game, high scoring. It's going to be in the 60s. Over's probably going to come over 56, 57. So that's an overlock there. Like I said earlier, KC's going to beat up on New England. So what happens next, right? Like I said, Brady and the Pats are going to lose next week to KC. New Orleans is going to beat up on LA. It's going to be KC and New Orleans in the final, 53. That's going to be a good game. That's going to be a high scoring game. We'll see after I run some analytics who's going to win that one. Slight edge right now is going to the more seasoned and more mature New Orleans Saints. But that's yet to be seen. So that's going to come up in a couple other episodes. I'm going to do, a divisional breakdown, a conference breakdown a little later in the week. And then, of course, we're going to do a pretty expandable Super Bowl episode right before the game. So that should be somewhere around episodes 3, 4, and 5. Last question here, Drew Brees, Tom Brady. Who's the better of the two? Brady still ekes it out. I think Brady just has a lot more notable wins than Brees does, but I think it's Drew Brees' year. He's going to get another Lombardi trophy for him and the boys in New Orleans. So it's just a short recap of the NFL divisional playoffs this week. A little insight on what what my early indications are of next week. Episode 3 will be during the week sometime this week. We'll talk about spreads, we'll talk about lines, over-unders, all that fun, good stuff. So with that said, Matty Numbers, out.